Greetings, adventurers, and welcome to Double Advantage, a D&D podcast where half of us have no idea what's going on at any given moment. It's complete and utter chaos, but we fucking love it. I am your Dungeon Master, John, and along with me, like always, my beautiful friends, Blazing Torchic, BryceKrispie, and Datsunami. How you guys doing today?
Doing
great.
good.
Hell yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we get into it, we have a couple of announcements to make. Up first, once again, we'd like to shout out thelovebracelet.org for the collaboration we're doing with them. Go ahead and buy a beautiful bracelet from them to support the fight against domestic violence. Go ahead and use code ADVANTAGEDOUBLE for 35% off your order. And if you get a bracelet, go ahead and tweet at us. We'd love to see it. And we'll share that with them, and it'll be a fun time. Anyway, once again, go ahead, follow the new social media accounts at Advantage Double on Instagram and Twitter, and then the YouTube channel, Double Advantage, youtube.com/Double Advantage for all other needs. It's also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So yes, there you go. Then, second, really quickly, friend of ours and artist for the show, Renny, Texas, for the rest of this month of June, is doing a humongous charity event from June 19th all the way up until the 30th. He is doing a charity event for the Trevor Project. He made a bunch of beautiful art pieces that he is selling, and all of, I think, not all, I don't know what the deal is, but proceeds will be going towards the Trevor Project to help LGBTQ plus youth. So please go ahead and support him. He is going to be Twitch streaming, I'm pretty sure, every day for the rest of the month, and just go support him. He's been doing this push for months. He's been working on this. He's just super dedicated to this, and I want to support him. And we all, I mean, without him, this podcast wouldn't be a thing. So we got to give credit where credit is due. So go support our boy because he's the shit. So with that, anybody have anything else to say before we get started?
No.
I know I kind of like just went for it, so if
That's hey man,
I got lost in the sauce, if you will.
Is good.
Anyway, so ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into episode 12. 12? Holy shit! Let's go ahead and get into episode 12 of Double Advantage. In the last episode, our three intrepid adventurers were tasked with the job of going into Itaro's water system because they had realized that they were having a bit of some difficulties and they wanted to get that fixed before the Liberation Festival, which is only a couple of days away. Upon arriving in the water system, they had found that many of the pipes and containers that held all the water were rusted over and pieces were missing, and upon investigating, while also sitting down and squirting Sakudo with the squirt stick, they heard this chitinous sound coming from a hole that they had found in the wall, and from it came these two bug-like creatures with pink plates of armor that had come up, and swiftly a battle had ensued with these creatures, and even a sand pseudopod-like entity joined the fray there for a bit, but everything was swiftly taken care of, and with haste, they were able to settle it all into dust and explore the rest of the hole that was leading into what was eventually found by Volstagg, aka Spider Stag, to be a nest for these creatures filled with eggs and sheets of metal and pipe that were presumably being saved for a later meal. In order to make his way back, Volstagg needed to take a long rest, so the group took a long rest, chit-chatted about cooking eggs, and just played with their turtle companion. And eventually, after about an hour, made their way back, and they made their way back into the city to report that everything was fine, and they spent the next few days just doing odd jobs here and there, chatting up with friends again, for Scald's sake, talking to Buksabi, visiting the temple. For Sakudo, he spent a few days working in a restaurant for just some quick cash, and Volstagg sold 3 of the eggs and kept 1 for himself. We'll see how that plays out. And so you guys woke up to the beautiful sounds of celebration outside. You paraded the streets for a little bit, got Scheller a little Dawnfather chariot to ride around in. And after gallivanting the streets for a few hours, were called to the Chrysanthemum Coliseum, home to the High Disc Tournament, where you were given the ropes real quick, told about what needed to be done, and shown your first matchup, which was against the Mysticana Church of the Archheart. god of magic. And with that, you were brought up to the stadium. The cheers, the raging yells and screams of celebration were just so present, and it is awe-inspiring, the sound. People are cheering for you. They're cheering for the idea of you because they don't really know you, but they are cheering for you.
I love the idea of you.
I love the idea of you. I don't know who you are, but let's go. Dawnfather all the way, baby. And they are celebrating, and as the man at the top puts his hand up into the air, this firework erupts into gold, orange, and purple pink as the game begins. And I need whoever's the driver, aka the jockey, which I believe is Scald, to make an animal handling check as the first round of the tournament begins.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy.
So I will also be doing that because, you know, I'm the enemy. So here goes the first arc, the first part of the tournament, the Daybreak Sanctum versus the Mysticana. So with that, go ahead and roll your animal handling. Let me go ahead and pull up everybody's character sheet so I know. Oh, 24 is good. Oh, it's a natural 20.
Natural 20.
Ooh,
Off to a good start.
nice.
Cool. All right, let me go ahead and roll. Yeah, no, that's only a 14. So with that, as the firework goes off, immediately Scald, after realizing during your practice that you hadn't performed as well as you wanted, you decided, you know what? Fuck this. This is for my god. Let's kick it. And you whip the reins to the horned lizard, and it takes off at hypersonic speed. You get a jump so far ahead of the enemy that you are there before they're even halfway to the podium. So now, you're at the podium. Who's the thrower? Is it Volstagg?
Yes.
Or I'm sorry, the bombarder. So you watch as you kind of get whiplash, as you weren't quite expecting the swiftness of the horned lizard. They look big and they look heavy, but they move at a rapid pace, and you were caught off guard. But you are now steadily approaching the center podium where the disc lies. So I need you to make a dexterity saving throw to try to grab it as you're passing by it, because you're kind of moving. It's going to be a quick grab. So I need you to make a dexterity saving throw to see what will happen. 20.
Ooh,
Fuck.
Getting good rolls here.
All right. You go ahead, and as you are swiftly moving by, you reach out one hand, not even two hand, one hand, and as you're passing by, you grab it and you pull it towards your chest, and you now have the beautiful gold inlaid disc, surprisingly light for what it looked to be. So you guys are just going through. You're kind of dodging and weaving through these rocks that are embedded in the Colosseum floor to kind of act as detours. And so now, what needs to be done, because you got such a high jump on them, they are unable to act swiftly enough to crash into you to try and stop your momentum or to stop you from getting to the toss line. So, Scald, what I would like you to do is make another animal handling check to see if you can maneuver the cart before you cross the line.
Alrighty.
To see if you can get across perfectly.
22.
Ooh, 22. Jesus Christ. All right.
Let's go.
With precision. You are amped up. You were not performing well, and you were like, you know what? I don't think I can do this. But once you got into the stadium, realized what it is you were actually doing this for, the inspiration fills you, and you can almost feel the warmth of the Dawnfather kind of crest your temples. And you just take the reins and pull in such a manner that the lizard just... it's almost like you're Tokyo drifting a lizard and a cart. And you just pull it right over. So Volstagg, you are given the most ample shot for this. So I need you to in order to try and score a goal here, I need you to make just a straight dexterity check. So whatever it is, I think it's just a +2 standard. A dexterity check with advantage, because he maneuvered the cart so well to give you the most ample shot. I need you to roll to throw the disc to see if you can score the first goal of the tournament.
All right.
And I will be rolling to
advantage.
I'll be rolling to try to catch it. Uh-oh.
Well, I got a nat 1.
Oh, no, you have advantage.
Oh.
So you
Yep,
would take
you rolled
that,
advantage.
you would take
So I
that
got
11.
13.
13. Oh shit. He catches it. You watch as the protector is standing there. He's got these heavy gloves on, similar to what Sakudo is currently equipped with, and you can see the purples. This entire team is wearing purple outfits and kind of these pads to dedicate the arch art. And you watch as he's kind of sitting there. He's not a burly man, but he's a swift man. And you watch as you throw it, thinking you have an ample shot, and he runs and jumps and kind of just hits it, kind of swats it down before it can get into the net, and then he picks it up, and you watch as he tosses it. Actually, well, let me check. Yeah, you watch as he tosses it, and it makes its way to the bombarder in the cart as he catches it. And so now the enemy team has possession of the high disc. So, with that, they're going to be making their way. They're going to be maneuvering. They're going to be trying to get their way to them. Because of how well you rolled to avoid the toss line, Scald, you now have ample opportunity to try and crash into them to give them or make their shot bad. Or even kind of like how curling is, hit them so that they actually cross the toss line. If you choose to do so, do remember though that by crashing in, you take damage and they take damage.
Right.
So you can attempt that and risk potentially damaging the cart. But if you do want to do that, let me know. What is going through your head at this point? This is kind of where it's a little more free. You now kind of have the capabilities to do what you want now that you don't have the disc.
I mean, that would just be a little like wind out of the sails at first. Just be like, oh yeah, we're doing so good. Oh, right.
Yeah.
But hey, defense. Immediately just try to at least cut them off. Like try to,
Okay.
what's the word? Get the a good line on them where I'm gonna cut them off, and then maybe interfere, but not smash into them.
Okay. So you don't want to smash them, but you kind of want to get in front of them. That way they have a harder shot.
Yeah.
Understandable. Okay. Go ahead and make another animal handling check to see if you can position yourself properly in between the goal and the cart.
Nope.
Natural 1.
Uh-oh.
Okay. That's interesting. So you seeing that you had all this energy, you were so hyped. You thought for sure Volstagg was going to score, and you're like, "Oh, fuck." And you whip the reins to try and get between them, but you are blindsided by the fact that there is one of those larger rocks kind of shifting up. And your cart kind of crashes into it and it tears a little bit. So your cart, someone keep this in mind in case it comes into play. The cart has 30 hit points.
Okay.
So if somebody wants to write this down, the cart has 30 hit points, and you currently just took 4 points of damage to your cart as you crashed into a rock trying to get through and maneuver yourself, and you were just the energy's too high, and you're just now you're like, okay, shit, that was not smart. So they are able to. Well, I need to actually make an animal handling check for them. Yes. You watch Sakura. So this is now your first time fully in the game. You've been standing there preparing for anything to just catch the disc, swat it away, whatever you can do. You watch as they start coming at a hypersonic speed, and you watch as, with haste, the cart just maneuvers and shifts, and now the bombarder has... It's a clear-cut shot straight at you. So I need you to make a dexterity saving throw to see if you can catch it.
Oh, 10.
10. You watch as, with a speed you were not expecting, the individual who's throwing the disc takes it kind of from a downward position and kind of throws it sideways, like at an arc, and you watch as it's coming straight, and then at the last minute it curves and it hits the end and makes it into the net. You watch as the crowd begins to erupt. You see more fireworks of purple going off. And music is loudly playing, the cheers, but they did score the first goal. Unfortunately. So, you go ahead, you pick it up, I presume, from the net. Okay, and I would like you to make a dexterity throw or dexterity check to toss it to Volstagg as the cart kind of comes past you.
There you go, Volstagg.
Yep, 22. Volstagg, you watch as the Scald maneuvers the cart right past Sakudo, and you kind of like hold your hand out like, hey, throw it to me. And you watch as just like you just put your hand up, and before like you can even say anything, it's in your hand. Just immediately, and you have it. So, with that,
Skull.
Scald, make an animal handling check, my man, to see if you can make it through. 14. That is perfect. You learn from your mistakes. You're avoiding the rocks, you're avoiding the jagged pieces. You're trying your best to not fuck up again. Because you were doing so well. And you're getting the hang of it, and you're going. And now comes the time for the toss line. So, you watch as, from the side, you were too busy maneuvering through, you watch as the cart, or at least is going to attempt to slam into you to throw off your trajectory. Fuck. That's a natural 20.
Oh.
So you watch as the cart just slams into one another. Like, the sound, and the crowd erupts with this loud, like, and it just erupts into just splinters and pieces of wood. Both carts do, though, take 4 points of damage. So
22.
So it is both 4 carts. Or not both 4 carts. Both carts take 4. So because of this impact, Scald, to cross the toss line, you now have disadvantage to try and not be pushed over, and to try to save what's left of this part of your turn, or your round, I should say. So go ahead and make an animal handling check with disadvantage due to the collision. And we will see what happens from there. Because, yeah, there we go.
Nat 1.
Nat 1. Fuck. Okay.
Oh, sorry, I was muted.
Oh, you're good. You are unable to maneuver in time to save yourself from the toss line, and you cross over. And immediately you hear a whistle blow as you receive 1 penalty. Remember, 3 penalties mean they just take your cart from you. You have received 1 penalty for crossing the line, and the disc is forfeited to the enemy team. So they allow you to reposition yourselves, but they give the disc to the enemy team, and you watch as they begin to start, maneuvering through these rocks. They're kind of, it's a little rough, and they're not quite doing it as well as they could, but they're not actively, hitting any rocks, and they're making their way around. They start curving a little bit to the left to try and get a little side corner. So as they do that, what would you like to do, Scald, as you're driving the chariot?
I mean, fuck it at this point. I gotta not let them score, so I'm going to... shouldn't ram them, but at this point, fuck it. They
Fuck
did
it.
it to us last time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Volstagg approves.
Cool.
Samuel approves.
All right. You try to ram into him.
Fire in my eyes.
Fire in your eyes. Volstagg, you can't really see it because you're kind of looking at his back, but you can see streaks of flame. Like you know how like when you're in a car, your hair kind of blows back?
Right.
Because you guys are in this chariot going, you can see fire pushing backwards, emanating from his face and backwards. Small little streaks of flame. You can tell he's a little pissed off. So with that, go ahead and make another animal handling check to see if you can maneuver the cart to try and just ram into this other cart.
Please. Please.
Where you get 1 more nat
Fucking
1.
come on.
8.
Better than a nat 1.
Yeah, you just barely miss the cart. They start going one way, and you're like, I got these fuckers. And then at the last second, they turn, kind of almost like in basketball, kind of crossing you over in a way. You kind of you stutter step with the cart, and you're like, fuck.
Too much rage. Too much rage.
Too much rage.
Tone it down a little.
But you watch as they're approaching. They've just outmaneuvered you. They've given themselves ample opportunity, and you watch as they maneuver the cart but the wheel kind of slides a little bit more than they were expecting, and you watch as the cart gently crosses over the toss line.
Word.
So they have received their first penalty, and the disc has been forfeited to you. So
Come on, lads, let's go. Calm it down.
So this does give you a few seconds to relax, because they have to issue the penalty. They have to walk over and be like, hey, don't do, you're on thin ice. They give you a little pep talk. You just got it, a few seconds ago, and so that gives you guys a second to kind of regroup. And so the three of you kind of get together. Sakudo, you kind of walk over to the cart from the goal, and you guys have a couple seconds, 30 seconds to chat and discuss strategy if you wish. It's like a timeout almost, to kind of give you some time to recuperate.
Is it cheating if I use my psychic whispers? Like telepathy.
Only if they find out, I guess. Well, you're allowed to use magic and stuff and weapons once the carts are gone, but
Okay.
I don't see why you couldn't do a telepathic link, considering it's not technically magic. It's a completely different thing. It's psionics, which technically isn't magic. So.
Well, sure, I'll roll a d6 real quick.
All right.
2 hours.
2 hours. All right. And you can, not on saving throws though, but if it ever requires it, you can use your psionic die to help with abilities.
Oh yeah, the dexterity.
The dexterity. But it only works on abilities, I believe, and you're doing saving throws.
Yeah, so only when I throw it to.
So whenever,
Volstagg.
you can use it when you throw it to Volstagg, or if anything else happens, you can make that work.
Okay.
But yeah,
Got it.
So with that, you guys, Volstagg, they hand you the disc, and you watch as another firework goes off to initiate the start of the game once again. So, Scald, I'm gonna need another animal handling check from you, my man.
All right.
And if you have
All right.
any other ideas on, what you might want to do, then you can convince me, oh, I want to do this, so can I roll this instead? If anything comes to mind for any of you, let me know, and I'm happy to just see how it goes. If you have any cool ideas, I mean, once again, the game's kind of a work in progress, but I think it's working pretty well so far. So, yeah, go ahead and make that animal handling check.
Can I guide myself on these, by the way?
Let me read guidance real quick. I want to just take a look here and see. So one action, touch. You touch one willing creature. Once before the spell ends, the target can roll a d4 and add the number rolled to one ability check of its choice. I would say, I don't know, because you're using both hands to drive the cart.
I mean, in this timeout, right before we were
Oh,
starting.
in this timeout? Absolutely, you could.
Yeah, right before we were gonna jump on the horse and everything.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, and get going. I would just guide myself right now.
Yeah,
And then
absolutely.
I'm not saying for every single one, but yeah, for this
No,
specific
for
one.
that particular instance, go for it. Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. So I will add animal handling.
Animal handling.
Fucking why another?
You have a plus a d4 though.
I know, but
You better roll a 4 on these.
3.
3.
So 11.
11.
Yeah.
In this instance, it's not bad because you are just maneuvering through the rocks. You're going kind of at a slower pace, which allows for a potential enemy to come in and just ram into your cart. But you're not taking any damage. It's not technically a detriment to you. And you watch as the other cart, it looks like it's playing defense. It kind of interposes itself in between you and the goal, like you did in the first round. So I would like you to make an animal handling check without the guidance, because you've used guidance up.
You.
And this is for the toss line. 16.
16.
Okay.
You stop it perfectly right before it crosses. Like you can see that the wheel is tiptoeing that line, and you're almost expecting for a whistle to be blown, but there isn't one. And Volstagg, you have, well, what would have been a clean shot if it weren't for the fact that the cart has interposed itself. So you do have disadvantage, not because of the animal handling check, but because the cart is playing defense this time around. So go ahead and roll at disadvantage to try and make a goal here.
Ooh,
Oh, I have to roll to catch it. My bad.
not terrible.
Fuck it. All right. You watch as you can see that this cart is interposed, and because they're kind of like parked there, both the jockey and the bombarder are kind of like holding their hands out, and you're kind of like in this weird position where it's like, fuck, I have to throw through 3 people. And you see this small glimmer, this small spot where you're like, you know what, I could probably make that, and you toss it, and it's going in the right direction. And you watch as the bombarder who's sitting in the cart kind of like taps it with his finger. And you watch as because of that interference, it actually pushed the disc in the opposite direction that the protector was expecting, and it actually ends up going in on accident.
Yeah.
Because
Steven.
basically for your information, he rolled a natural 1 to catch. So he wasn't going to catch that, but you didn't roll very well. So it wasn't supposed to go in, but because the bombarder tried to like catch it, he kind of like threw it off its momentum, and it started like wobbling in the air, and the protector couldn't keep an eye on it properly, and it kind of just like slid in. Like hockey, it kind of just like and like crossed the net line to go in. And you can hear the chants, you can see the orange powder erupting in the Colosseum. You can hear people chanting like, Palor, 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 for the Dawn Father. And it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling. You guys are feeling amped, you're feeling hyped.
Totally meant to do that.
Yeah, you play it off. You play it off like you totally knew how to do it. Yeah, you totally meant that. But yeah, so you watch as the protector goes in, runs in, and grabs the disc and chucks it into the hands of the bombarder. Well, let me see. Yes, chucks it into the hands of the bombarder. And you watch as they actually. So the bombarder catches it and then turns, and you watch as the jockey is kind of having a rough time, like trying to get through these rocks, and kind of like is like, oh shit, there's a rock here, and avoids one rock, but by avoiding that rock, actually crashes into a second one. And you watch as so they crash. They take a few points of damage, and because of the friction of the crash, the disc actually gets shot, like 30 feet out, and you're at the goal, Sakudo.
Oh.
And you see it. It lands on the ground about 30 feet away from you.
I have 35 feet of walking speed.
Do what you need to do.
Run.
All right, you run, and you kind of like slide, and you grab the disc, and you now have the disc in your hand. You can see that Volstagg is like he's got his hands open over there in the corner, and the cart is currently crashed. You can see that they're trying to like get the lizard to like get out of the rubble, and they're like pulling, and Volstagg and Scald are kind of down the ways a little bit, kind of making their way. So what do you do?
Would I be able to throw it to them?
Yeah, you can throw it to him, or at least attempt to. So if you choose to throw him, it would just be 20 plus your
Dexterity.
dex. It'd be your dexterity, and you can use the psychonic dice for this if I am correct. Let me grab that information for you, because I want to make sure that you get to use your abilities the way that they are intended. Let me see. Psychonic power, you have 4 dice, it's a d6.
Skill or tool.
Wait, where is that? I can't find it. I'm sorry, let me find it.
If you fail an ability check using a skill or a tool.
Yeah. So you have that at your arsenal if you need to. So go ahead and roll that.
Are we playing more than one match in like an in-game day?
Yes. You will. Well, if you lose, you're done.
Oh.
If you win, you'll play one more, and then whoever wins that will be the champions. So you're only playing 2 max.
Okay, so I really only want to use 1 in this match. Let's go. Let's throw it.
Let's see. You throw it. 11. That's gonna fail. So, if you wish, you can choose to roll your dice.
E6.
So 11 plus whatever your dice ends up being.
So
Now
what's gonna happen? If I fail, it's just gonna land on the floor, and then both of them are gonna have to chase after it.
You don't know.
Hmm.
You feel as you pick it up, you throw it, and right before you release, you're not confident in the throw, and you feel that wellspring inside of you of that energy, that weird feeling that you've just got accustomed to, and you feel like you could take some of that wellspring and help yourself in this situation if you choose to do so. So that's up to you.
This is a good chance. They're crashed, so they won't be able to interrupt that
Alright.
well. 17.
17. That will succeed.
Yes.
So you pick it up, and you guys, Volstagg, because you're looking directly at him, hoping that he'll throw it to you. You watch as he's about to release it. You're like, that's not gonna make it. That's not gonna make it. And you watch as Sakudo's eyes glow red, and that red energy kind of crests and goes down his arm and goes into the disc. And as he throws it, the disc shines this red color as it's kind of shunted with this psychic force. As it crests over and lands directly in your hands. And Scald, I assume you just take off.
Take off like a
Alright.
bandit.
All right, go ahead and roll an animal handling check for me to maneuver through, with advantage because you have time, because you're not worried about potentially getting hit here. So you would have advantage.
Okay, 20 altogether.
20 altogether.
Let's go.
That's gonna get you right through it. You start maneuvering your way through. You're taking a little bit of your time, but you have confidence knowing they're not gonna fucking get to us anyway. So let's just do it. And you're maneuvering through. You're getting through, and you're at the toss line. And because you maneuvered so well, you now have advantage on this next animal handling check to secure the cart before the toss line.
Natural 20.
Natural 20. All right.
Let's go.
Because of that, you perfectly you're almost touching it. You get so close to the point where you're making your way through.
Oops.
And because of how
Ignore
close you get Volstagg so much closer to it than normally should, because it's just like barely touching it. And Volstagg, you have advantage on this throw
Oh,
because of how well you guys have been maneuvering through. Let's see what you could do.
17?
17. All
That's
right.
good.
It starts
That's good,
It starts cresting towards the goal. The protector is standing there, arms out, ready to grab. And you watch as it whizzes past his head. He was not expecting the force at which it was coming from, and he kind of like is caught off guard. And you watch as it hits the back of the net and hits a little piece of metal with this loud clanging noise, kind of like a gong almost. And you watch as the entire stadium erupts, as that was one of the craziest like sequences that has ever existed in the game.
Oh, I just put my fist in
Volstagg,
the
they
air
out here
and
flexing on
scream,
him.
Let's go.
Like the entire sequence of that, the crash to the disc kind of sliding over to Sakudo grabbing it and throwing it with this red energy, like kind of glowing like a beacon, as Volstagg catches it, and Skull just with the swiftness of a professional high disc player just maneuvers his way through and swifts and swerves right above the toss line, giving Volstagg a perfect throw into the net. An absolutely beautiful display of the game from 3 people who have never played the game before. And you watch as the crowd erupts. The powder is going crazy. The screams and the chants are absolutely nuts right now. And you guys are just smiling. And you watch as, because 2 goals have been scored for one team, there is a timeout that is issued via the referees. So you guys have about a minute to chat, discuss what you want to do, figure out what needs to be done, strategy, and all of that. And so you guys have about a minute to just chat it up if you wish.
I just run and jump and give this a big hug because that was epic.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's hope we can keep that momentum up because that one felt good. That one felt good.
Yeah, that one was very good.
So yeah, we got to. I got a little too hot there for a second, so I got to remember to. Pun intended. But yeah, I think if we keep our heads cool, we got this match. It's just a matter of the next one.
Yeah, let's calm it down. Keep it
Calm
steady,
down.
and we've got this.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
Keep doing what you're doing, Volstagg.
All right. You're issued some water, to keep yourself refreshed. I mean, technically, Scald and Volstagg are not really doing a lot of moving because of the cart. But
Stay hydrated, folks.
it's definitely still, stay hydrated, y'all. It's definitely still a taxing game. I mean, it's a Taro. It is the middle of the day, so the sun is directly above the stadium, which to some, while it's like, fuck, it's hot as hell, especially during this match, people take it as a sign that the Dawnfather is currently watching upon this match. And the heat, while people are like, oh, it's so hot, it sucks, the hotter it gets means that his presence is ever growing. And it's scorching right now. But the energy, the activity, the rigorous just excitement that you guys have just totally negates any of that heat that you might be feeling. And so you guys you're rearing and ready to go, and you watch as they're issued the disc, and they begin to take off, and they start navigating their way through the area, which they do very swiftly. And you watch as they start to steadily approach the toss line. What do you want to do as defense at this point?
I'm not going to try to crash into them. I'm going to do the whole get in front of them to completely block their line of sight.
Interpose yourself between them?
Yeah.
Okay, so that doesn't give disadvantage on the toss line check, but it will give disadvantage. Well, depending on what happens, give disadvantage to the throw. Because you're kind of like parking yourself in between, and then you and Volstagg are kind of just standing there with your hands out.
That's the hope.
Yeah. So here comes the animal handling check to get the toss line. They just barely stop themselves before crossing the line. You think for a split second, like, oh, they're gonna cross, but they don't. And you watch as the bombarder takes the disc and throws it with disadvantage because you're interposing yourself. No. Between Scald, Sakuro, and Volstagg, I would like you all to make dexterity saving throws. Because I do forget that even though he might have rolled poorly, someone still has to catch it. And you're all currently playing defense right now.
Well, I think I've got a good chance of catching this one.
Yeah. So, actually,
Volstagg.
it kind of goes in between Volstagg and Scald. And it's like, oh shit, but you watch as Volstagg kind of turns and grabs it with one hand, just grabs it before it passes the both of you, and you pull it in, tuck it close to your chest, and you guys are now at the same level. Like, you and the enemy are at the exact same spot. So do you take off?
We have the ball, right?
You have it.
Or
You caught it.
disc, okay.
Oh yeah, we're dipping.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah.
Roll that animal handling check to see if you can start maneuvering your way through.
Damn it.
7. Yeah, you don't damage your cart by any means, but you do take it a little bit slow. You're kind of having a hard time, and you watch as they do get in front to play defensively. And so I need you to go ahead and make an animal handling check at the toss line with disadvantage as they crash into you.
Crash.
They crashed right into you. You both take 2 points of damage.
So we're on 20.
2 points of damage. And you do cross the toss line. As they hit you, you're kind of pushed over the toss line, and you kind of like are trying to stop yourself, but you can't. The sand is too slick, and you gently slide over. So that's penalty number 2 for you guys. That is penalty number 2. One more, and they will take your card away from you. Make sure to keep track of damage. And so, yeah, with that, they now get the disc. and they're going to try and maneuver their way back through, which they do. So what do you want to do now at this point? You've just been crashed into. You watch as they start to take off. What do you want to do in this instance?
It didn't work last time, so I'm not gonna do it where I try to crash and rebuttal. So I'm just gonna attempt to get in front of them again.
All right, go ahead and make another animal handling check for me.
Interpose.
Interpose yourself.
It was on the natural 20 and rolled off.
You watch as you get there. You're there, but well, let's see. Actually, you get there and you're ready to play defense, and you watch as they also cross over the toss line.
Oh, nice.
Like you get there like prepared for like a throw, and you watch as they are not able to stop the momentum quickly enough. So that's penalty number 2 for them. And you are now given the disc. So, what's your play? How do you proceed from here? You just need one more, right?
I believe so.
To win? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what's your play? How do you try to secure this victory?
I'm just gonna go. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
All right, go for
it.
Go for it. Floor it. Go ahead and roll an animal handling check.
16.
16. You swiftly floor it through. You start maneuvering yourself through the different pillars of rocks. You even pass the podium where the disc was standing at the top of the game. You're swiftly kind of just going through each piece, and you watch as they kind of try to interpose themselves best they can, but they're a little bit like they're interposing themselves in front of the toss line instead of behind it. So they're trying to just not let you get there at all. So go ahead and make an animal handling check with disadvantage to try and go around them and then also not pass the toss line.
Pretty good.
And we'll see what you can do.
No. 10.
10. Yeah. You cross.
Wow. There goes the cart.
I mean, yeah, every roll being a disadvantage. Yeah.
Yeah, you cross. And they blow the whistle. They issue you your third penalty, and they take your cart.
Start running, boys.
So I mean, there's no difference for Sakudo here, but now they have a cart and you do not. And they have the disc. So how do you want to position yourselves here? Now that you do not have a cart. Because now you can kind of be separate. You're not like stuck to one another, Volstagg and Skald. How do you guys want to be?
How should we do this?
So is Volstagg the only one who can throw still?
No. Now that it's all game, anybody can throw.
So I can just run with it?
You could, but then who's going to protect? In case you...
I mean, that's only if we miss.
That's true.
Or drop it.
That's up. Now it's like, anything goes pretty much for you guys.
I'm going to stay back and defend, obviously.
Okay, so you watch as they get the disc and they start rushing their way through. Fuck me. You watch as, once again, they're kind of maneuvering through and they're getting a little caught up, and they see one pillar and they swerve, but they were unaware that there was a second one behind, and they just crash into it, and the disc kind of just goes over and slides over towards you, Skald. It's about 20 feet away from you at this point, and you can see it.
Run, grab it.
All right, you go ahead, you run, you grab it, you now have it. What do you want to do with it?
Throw it to Volstagg.
All right, make a dexterity check to throw it to Volstagg.
Fuck me.
Natural one.
I would have said wrong.
How? I'm trying to figure out how to
How
rule
many
this.
nat ones are we gonna get?
I'm just trying to figure out how a nat 1 throwing a disc would work.
Just straight to the ground.
Yeah, I guess.
Like, You know, have you ever like thrown a frisbee that just kind of like slips out of your hand and just goes?
Yeah. So you throw it, and it actually starts rolling on its side.
Oh no.
In the opposite direction of Volstagg, towards where it just came from. It's like you threw it back to them. But then it kind of slowly kind of does that thing where it like and then finally it lies flat on the ground. They don't have possession of it yet currently, but neither do you guys.
How far is it from me?
Well, he threw it further down the stadium, so it's further from you now than it was before.
Oh, okay.
So they're going to attempt to try and recover from this situation, which they do not. They're still kind of stuck in this rock trying to get the lizard out. And so you probably threw it about 40 feet away from you, Scald. So it's about 40 feet from you. Volstagg, I'd say it's about 50 feet from you because of where you were positioned.
Damn it.
So you could run to it, then use your action to do another 30 feet. And then I could say that you could pick it up. But you couldn't do anything else. If that's what you wanted to do. Or Scald, you could do the same. But you would only be able to get to it and pick it up.
I'm just going to focus on defense.
Okay, you back up, focus on defense. Volstagg, what do you want to do?
I'll also play defense for the time being. I do have a trick up my sleeve if we ever get possession.
Okay, so you watch as they finally do recover and the bombarder picks up the disc and they start making their way through pretty swiftly. And they are now about to attempt to do the toss line, which they are able to. And now they are going to throw, not with advantage, they just a regular throw. And so I need all of you to make dexterity saving throws to see if you can catch, to see who's going to catch, if any of you at all can catch. So let's see.
Okay.
Natural one again?
Not me, no. I rolled a 16.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Actually, surprisingly enough, Scald, after backing up, realizing you threw just a horrendous throw, you back up, and you watch as it looks like he's going to throw it to the left, and that Volstagg's got it. But at the last minute, he switches sides and begins to throw it. And you, knowing how perceptive you are, knowing exactly what this person was going to do the whole time, you begin to run in the direction, and you jump, and you dive, and you catch with one hand as you kind of land in the dirt face first, kind of like spitting dirt out, but you have the disc in your hand, and you hear the crowd going nuts at that play. It's like in baseball where somebody does a dive catch. Like, you just went for it, and you didn't expect to touch, like, you didn't even expect to get it, but you caught it clean. And you have it now. And because of the way you dove, you're right next to Volstagg.
Alright, I'm just going to hand it off to him.
Alright, you give it to him.
Wait. How far can Volstagg run? Like, can he run and then catch it if it's thrown to him?
Yeah, like football? Or like
Yeah.
American football, I should say?
Because I'm just thinking, if Scald passes it to me and Volstagg runs, I have higher dexterity, so I have a high chance of getting the pass to him.
That's true, but he's also
And-
right
and
next to
Volstagg's
him, and then he
run.
could just run. So,
Fair.
that's up to
Okay,
whatever
yeah.
you guys wanted. That's up to you.
We'll
It's
go with
totally you
that.
guys.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Can I wild shape during this?
Technically, you can't until they also lose their cart.
Oh.
Once
Okay.
once they also lose their cart, you can do anything. You can fight. You can do
Let's say
magic.
If I could turn into a giant weasel, I get better dexterity and I can travel 40 feet.
Yeah. So you just gotta hope that they eventually get another penalty, or you score before then.
Then I think we should go with the run and throw, maybe.
All right.
Or what do you guys think?
Wait, because couldn't you go the same distance if it's just passed off? I feel like I was overthinking this. Like,
Yeah,
if you just pass it off and run.
Yeah, I'm only gonna be able to go 30 feet down the course.
That's true.
Wait,
right?
can you run and throw? Because I can move. Actually, no, I'm staying
So
defense.
you
never
would
mind.
be
I'll
able
stay
you would
defense.
be able to run 60 feet. You would be able to use your movement and then use your action, and then catching is
Okay.
kind of like a free thing.
Okay. But now if I ran 60 feet, I couldn't throw, right?
Yeah. So that's why like he could just give it to you and you could just run 60 feet and then you would be able to throw your next turn.
Okay, let's...
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
better.
let's do that.
Okay. You hand it off to him, and you run your 60 feet, kind of just like on foot. Like you were like, "Fuck!" Like I didn't expect we were actually gonna have to like run. I thought we'd be okay. And you're running through the dirt, and it's a lot easier to maneuver through the rock on foot. So no worries there. But you do watch as the cart comes barreling towards you to try and cut you off. So I need you to make a
stand there and stare him down.
I need you to make a dexterity saving throw to try and dodge the cart. To see if you can
get smacked by it.
Try and intimidate me, bitch.
Oh, 20. Yeah, the cart's coming at you, and you're like staring it down, and the person driving is like, "Oh shit, I don't actually want to hit him," and at the last minute, kind of turns, kind of trying to call your bluff, basically, but you called theirs. And so the cart kind of swerves and goes by you, and now you have a chance here. So. Go for it. All you need to. So you're about 30 feet away, easy. Okay. So you run, and you can get. And because you're on foot, you can get right up on the toss line. Like you can be there, and you're just. It's eye on eye contact with the protector. What do you do?
Throw it.
All right, throw it. He's going to try and save it. Yeah, he catches it easily. He easily just catches it in his palms, and he throws it out to his bombarder friend as they begin to maneuver through. Fucking Christ!
They crash again.
They crashed again, and this time, their cart just breaks.
Oh.
You watch.
Weasel time!
They've crashed 3 times over the course of this game. And this was just the nail in the coffin as the cart just shatters into pieces. And you watch as they're all shunted from the cart at different angles, like a horrible car wreck. And they're just like, they just grind across the sand, just rolling in it as the disc just shoots out towards you, Sakuro. And easily you're able to just catch it because of how far it gets shunted. And it's not like, it's just like you're easily able to catch it. But now it's fair game. The crowd's going nuts at the fact that the carts have both just broke.
Okay.
And so now you guys are able to use magic. You can use weapons. You can see as they're getting up out of the cart, you can see a couple people grabbing weapons, like ready to like fuck. Like we might have to fight now. So.
Okay. How far is Volstagg still like at the goal line?
Yeah, technically.
Do you think I'll be able to yeet it that far?
You can certainly try.
I mean, you can run up more, right? And then throw?
You can run 35 feet, which would put you... Because so Volstagg ran 60 feet, and then another 30 feet, and he was at the toss line. So if you run 30 feet, Volstagg's only 60 feet away. I would say, depending on how you roll, you could get it to him.
Okay, right, I'm going to run 35 feet.
All right. You run 35 feet, and you can go ahead and chuck it to him. Let's see what you can do. 18. Yeah, you get it to him. You watch as they crash. You see it, you catch it, you run up and you chuck it. And it just cleanly, you know, sometimes when you throw a frisbee, it wobbles a little bit. There's no wobble. It just goes clean. And Volstagg, you grab it 2 hands and you're there. Immediately. Like the swiftness of everything that just transpired, like kind of your mind is like numb, but once again you're in the same situation where you have the opportunity to win the game. So what do you do?
Okay. Question.
Yes.
Can I try and intimidate him to either get him at disadvantage or me advantage?
Okay.
This worked well.
It's going to depend on what you say here. So as you're staring him down, disc in hand, he's waiting. What do you say to him?
Well, I wasn't prepared to say anything. I was just going to try and use my intimidating
look.
You
gotta try and say something. Yeah. You gotta do something here, or do something. Anything. How do you intimidate him?
How do I intimidate him? You know how Babe Ruth did the thing with the bat, pointed up the home run?
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Okay, so you just
point at the ball and point at the net.
And just all right. Let me see. So make a deception check. Or not deception. I'm sorry. Make a intimidation check to see if you can successfully intimidate him. 10. He just kind of smirks.
Full stack.
He kind of just smirks at you, like, and then does the double, like, bring it on with his hands. So it didn't work.
All right.
So go ahead and roll a dexterity check to see.
Wait, can I wild shape now?
You can, but I don't know how easy it'll be to throw a disc in wild shape form.
I don't know. Weasels are like. I was just trying to get better dexterity.
Yeah, I get that. If you turned into like a monkey, I would probably allow it.
Well, you didn't let me turn into a monkey. I don't have that. I've never seen one.
Oh, you're right. You've never seen a monkey. My bad.
Okay.
Oopsies.
We'll just throw it.
Yeah, just throw it. And I already rolled to see if he can catch it.
Nat 20.
Oh, fuck.
I'm just
right.
curious, what was the roll to catch?
It was an 18.
Ooh.
So you
Let's go.
you literally, like, that's what needed to happen.
Yep.
You look at him and you try to intimidate him and he's like, "Yeah, bring it on, you little shit." And you're like, "All right, fuck you then." And you take it and you begin to throw it and you're like, "Nah." You put it in your left hand and you throw it. And he's like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, not expecting it. And he, like, was already midway dodging to one side and tries to dodge to the other. And he kind of reaches out to try to grab it. And it slips through his fingers and hits the back of the net, making this loud gong sound. And you watch as the crowd erupts. The colors of orange and yellow just begin to explode in the Coliseum. And you watch as the person at the top says, "Congratulations!" And it's just like an eruption of celebration. You can see little pieces of like confetti paper being tossed into the stadium as you have scored the final goal to win the first match of the tournament. You guys, like, you know, meet up in the center. You guys are celebrating. You guys are having the time of your lives. Like, this is something you're like, holy shit. Like, you guys just won the first round. And you can see people celebrating with a natural 20, of course. It's always how it goes.
Started with a nat 20, ended with a nat 20.
Yeah. And you go ahead and you they're kind of like, you watch as the guy who was up top comes down and is like cheering you guys on. It's like, "Congratulations to the Daybreak Sanctum. These fine gentlemen have won it and you will move on to the next round." And as he says that, you can see, you know, fireworks going off. These just loud sounds that shake the Coliseum as each firework erupts. The beautiful oranges, no longer orange and purple, but it's just oranges and Scald. You're looking around and, like, you've worshipped the Dawnfather all your life. And you've seen plenty of these tournaments. But being a part of it and watching as people are also celebrating you and your god, it is just incredible. It's a feeling that you haven't felt in a while. And it reminds you that this is home, you know? As much as you might want to get away from it, or as much as you want to adventure the world, this is where you're from. And you feel it deep in your chest. All three of you feel this heat, like a welcoming, warm, gentle heat in like your temples and in your neck. And you guys all feel like you've done right here, and you're just basking in it all. And you watch as from a side chamber, Scald, you see the High Priestess walk down into the stadium and meet your gaze, and then comes up to the three of you as you guys are celebrating, and she kind of just looks at you and smiles. She says, "Well, I haven't seen a display like that in quite a few years. You guys must have really done a deal in practice."
You know, we did have the data price, but it kind of just came down to luck in the moment.
I mean, the luck of the Dawnfather be with all of us in these trying times, but my goodness, I every moment when something went your way, I could feel the heat just intensify, and I can almost guarantee the Dawnfather aided you in some way here today. It is quite impressive, actually. And she looks at you, Volstagg. You are quite talented in a game that you have just learned within the last few days. I'm impressed.
It was all dumb luck.
Yeah, well, dumb luck or not. Congratulations. You are, even if you don't make it all the way, and even if you didn't win this match, the service to us and the display you've put on is more than enough to please the Dawnfather, obviously. And you look up and the sun is just pounding on you guys. And as you guys are looking up at the sun, you just hear all the fireworks going off. You see them going. And you watch or not watch, but you hear, you're hearing all these sounds, right? And you hear this big explosion, and you look up in the sky, and you don't see a firework. You're looking around, and you're still hearing those smaller sounds, and you see the fireworks, and you hear another one. No firework. And then immediately you hear a bunch of loud sounds with no accompanying firework, and you're confused as to what's going on, and you watch as the stadium, little parts of it begin to erupt in an explosion within the Colosseum. Little bits, you hear screams, you see chunks of the stadium beginning to fall apart and explode into pieces. You watch as people are panicking, they're trying to escape. You see people running through the stadium itself at the bottom floor, trying to find a way out, and you're panicking with them. You're trying to figure out what's going on, and you look into the stadium itself, and you look at the floor, and the last thing you hear is an explosion, and all of your guys' visions go white. And that's where we're going to end this episode.
Wow. Well, shit.
Okay.
I flipping knew something like this was gonna happen.
So we'll see what happens in the next episode. Congratulations on winning the first round of the tournament.
The tournament that just got blown to shit.
Yeah. I guess before we end off, Scald, because of your perception, what you saw right before the flash of light and the piercing ringing sound in your ear, make an insight check. No, I don't know, perception or insight. Make a perception check for me, and you do have advantage because you're shield.
20.
You look down right before you're already preoccupied with what's going on, the explosions, and you look down at the ground right before your vision goes hazy. You see a small device, and it looks like a bomb. You've seen bombs before. You used to make pipe bombs as a kid. Dumb shit that you shouldn't have been doing. It's a bomb. And because of your high perception, you can see on the side of the bomb right before it explodes a Caduceus staff with 2 snakes wrapping around it. And now that's where we'll end the episode now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay.
Interesting things happening. Yeah, anyway, congratulations. You guys have just hit level 4.
Oh.
Ding!
Let's go.
There wasn't a lot of combat these last few episodes, but major story events. You infiltrated a meeting, participated in a tournament. While not a lot of combat ensued, you did do a lot of important things. And so
killed some rust monsters.
Killed some rust monsters, but
and took their eggs.
Winning the tournament. I mean, not winning the tournament is what got you, a level up, but you will be leveling up. So
Awesome.
We can discuss that, at future dates. But, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching this episode. We do hope you enjoyed what was a very quick tournament arc. We'll see what comes of that. Anyway, yes, please go support thelovebracelet.org. Please go support our beautiful friend Renny, Texas, and artist of the show. Go ahead and support him and everything that he does, because he is trying to push this, and it is going to be fantastic. So for the entire month of June, go by twitch.tv/Renny, Texas, and he will most likely be streaming. We might even, we're in the works of it, might even do a little D&D one-shot for the charity event. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, go ahead and support them. We love you guys very much. Stay safe. Enjoy your squirt sticks, and we will see you guys next time.